Hello and welcome to another edition of Delta Media Group's Tech Tuesday. So today we're going to bounce back and forth into the DeltaNet a little bit, just to keep you on your toes, I guess. But once we're done with that, we're going to go over a feature that a lot of you have been interested in for quite a while now. So most of the features or most of the new stuff that we put in place, we do based on different basically requests from people like you. Just things that you think will make your business easier to manage and your day-to-day life easier to manage as a result. So this one is Google Sync. And so what we've added now is the ability to sync your Google contacts. You can sync your calendar and you can sync your Gmail with the DeltaNet. I shouldn't say sync your calendar. You can see your Google Calendar in the DeltaNet. That's kind of what that amounts to. But without further ado, into the DeltaNet we go. Get that right on that time. Okay. So to set up all of your various Google Sync items, here we are on the home page of the DeltaNet. What we'll need to do is scroll all the way to the bottom, and here we have the Google tab. So we'll click there, and then we have Google Contacts. So if I click on Google Contacts, it brings up a screen that allows me to authorize my account. So I'll go ahead and say authorize, and I set up a little test authorization account for this. So let's cross our fingers that everything does what it's supposed to. So I click on the account. I'm already signed into that account, so it doesn't ask for my password. But if on this computer you were not already signed in, you'll have to put your password in there to sign into your Google account. Once you're in, you can see these are the privileges that basically DeltaNet Sync is the name of our Sync app. So these are the privileges that it asks for to be able to handle all of these things. Now, keep in mind, in this case, I am just syncing up contacts. That's the one that I clicked on. But we have to have a single app that covers all of the items that you might want to attach to it. So even if you're just attaching Google Contacts, it still needs authorization to be able to handle your email and authorization to be able to manage your calendar, because those are the other systems that are part of this app. If you don't turn them on in the DeltaNet, we won't actually be using those privileges, but just know that this is why it's asking for them. So that looks good. We'll click Allow. And then what it's doing now is it is syncing all the contacts in my Google account with all the contacts in my DeltaNet account. Also, it's trying to pick up any duplicates. So if I have a whole bunch of accounts in, let's say that when I first set up my account in the DeltaNet, I went into my Google account, I exported my contacts, imported them into the DeltaNet, and now I'm adding Google Sync. What it'll do is, because the same contacts exist in both places, for a lot of those contacts, is it will see the ones in the DeltaNet. If it sees a match in your Google account, it'll just try to link those two together. And it will use the information from the Google account as the most up-to-date information, as far as like name and phone number, that stuff. So that's how it will handle those, as opposed to creating a new contact on one end or the other where you'll end up with a bunch of duplicates. So you may still end up with some duplicates once it's all said and done and synced up. And with any contact system like this, there's a little bit of a cleanup. But for the most part, it should pick most of that up. What it will do now is, depending on how many contacts you have, over the next 24 hours, usually, it will get all of your contacts synced from one place to the other. And once that initial sync is taken care of, you'll be able to add a contact to either the DeltaNet or add one to Google, and it will automatically show up in the other place. So you'll only have to enter them once. So the idea is, if you're out at an open house or anything and somebody gives you your contact information, you can just pull out your phone, add them as a Google contact, and it'll automatically put them in the DeltaNet for you. So there you go. That's step one, Google Contact Sync. So now, go ahead and scroll back down. We also have Google Calendar. So I'll click on Google Calendar, and a similar looking screen, activate Google Calendar. And there you go. Since we've already authorized the app when we set up the contact sync, it just hooks them up. So now here is what my Google Calendar looks like. And you can see I added a couple of events. These events are actually from my Google Calendar. I added these to this account ahead of time. So you can see St. Patrick's Day. By the way, my birthday is St. Patrick's Day. So, if anybody wants to send some green beer my way. So I also added another contact here, and you see if I click on it, it brings up some information about the event. So right now this isn't a full sync, but basically you can go into the DeltaNet on this page and you can see all of your Google Calendar events. And then lastly, if we want to sync up our Gmail as well, I'll click on Gmail, activate Google Mail. It's thinking about it, and there we go. So this is the contents of my Google mailbox for this account. I can send and receive mail from here, and I can see all of the email and read all the email that's attached to my Google account. So we can see that I sent myself this test email, so we'd have something to look at. If I click on it, and there it is, and there's our message. If I want to make a new email, I'll just go ahead and compose. And you can see that it auto-completes, just like, look at this. And you can see that it auto-completes with the contacts that are attached to this account. So it's actually pulling the contacts from my Delta account that it's syncing with my Google account right now. That allows me to just go ahead and pick as I would in any other email interface if I was using it through my actual Google Mail interface. So the biggest point of this is that it's one thing that's just designed to save you time. So instead of having to log in separately to your Gmail somewhere else, you can just go ahead and do it here. So if I say test, I enter a test subject. I know what accounts I have in here. Test it testing, that sounds promising. And I just go down here, test email, and click on send or save draft, and it will send it out or save it as a draft as I choose. You can see my standard folders are over here also. Go back to my inbox. I won't send that one because it'll bounce back because that email is fake, but other than that, there it is. And you can see that it marked it as read also. Now the last thing is part of the Google Sync stuff. If I go up to Home and down to Welcome, now as we talked about before, this is the first page you end up on when you log into the DeltaNet. If I scroll down, you can see that I have widgets right here on my home page that show my Google Calendar and my Gmail. So it shows the emails right here. I can click there and it will take me over to that email specifically. Takes me over to the other page, and then here it is, Google Sync all set up. Also, go back to my welcome page and down to my calendar widget. I can go over here and I can click Open Google Calendar, and it takes me over to the calendar page and opens my full calendar. So there you go. That's all there is to it, Google Sync. We really like this one because it's pretty simple to set up. Those are my favorite kinds of things. So there you have it. As always, thanks a lot for joining me this week. If you have any questions on Google Sync or anything else, any other features or suggestions for videos, anything like that, feel free to comment on this video, send an email into support@deltagroup.com, or give us a call and we would be happy to talk to you. So thanks a lot for joining me this week, and I will see you next week.